see what everybody's been turning. We got a few folks on the gallery list. Everybody, if anybody is new to the group here, if it's your first or second meeting, give us a shout out here in the chat, and then we'll try to do a little introduction of yourself. Let us know and enjoy the show if this is your first one.
Hey,
Matt,
Dane,
what we got for
Dane,
yeah,
right?
Eddie.
Jerry Beeson sent us in $5 to get some stickers, and it's been sitting in that till. I don't have access to that PayPal thing. I have to wait for the daughter that handles that for me to tell me it's there. So Jeffrey Beeson, I sent them out today, Jeffrey. But if you want stickers, you use the address that's on the front page of our webpage and send me a check or some way to pay for it, and then I'll get them right out to you. We have stickers, the Worldwide Woodturner stickers. They're 10 for $5, and we still have a couple hundred of them left. If you'd like to get one, put them on your lathe. We'd like to see them on a demonstration lathe when we get you on to do a demo. We'd like to see it there, and we'd like to see them in the backdrop. I mean, when we go to see Brenda, it's on a chair behind her, right on the back of her chair. And we like to see that, like to see our name out there, because we are your wood turning club. Just throw it out there because, well, look, there it is, right there, over her shoulder.
Right.
Cool. It's always there. See, Brenda, I noticed.
We all know.
Right. Brenda just froze up.
Brenda,
all right.
are
we ready for some gallery?
It's just her personality.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead.
All
Matt.
right.
Paul's here.
Yeah.
What you got, Dave?
Well, I got an extra day in the shop because today was Monday was a holiday. And believe it or not, I did a cherry bowl.
Sweet.
I like that shape too. Like it.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Like how you got the inside shaped like the outside.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Cherry bowl.
That looks good.
And then I happened to be rooting around the shop for something else to turn. And I happened onto this.
Oh,
wow.
Beautiful wood.
Pretty chunk of wood, man.
That's
lovely. That's pretty.
Is that
a little
crotch?
something knocking? Just a little something knocking around the shop, huh, Dave?
Yeah.
Was that a crotch piece?
Yes, it was.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, very nice.
Actually,
Wow.
It wasn't as much a crotch as it was the wood just below a large limb.
Okay.
That's how you get the
So it had a lot of stresses on it.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm stuck with a bunch of walnut, but one of these days I'll get a chance to cut it.
That's not a bad thing to be stuck with.
Between walnut and cherry, I'm lousy with it.
Yeah.
But
Gosh,
I mean, it's a cross we've all got to bear, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the same. I've got the same problem, Dave. It's just
Poor
terrible.
unfortunate
Terrible.
soul. Two are the nicer woods to turn. I wouldn't complain about that.
Oh, that was sarcasm. No complaint.
Yeah. They are two of my favorites.
Yeah,
All
I
right. Well,
think
thanks.
that
Thanks.
walnut I think is about the best thing to turn. I think, but I have tons of cherries, so I do a lot of it.
Don't put
That's
the
it for me.
shavings outside on anything that you want to keep. The shavings will kill a huge tree.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Believe me, I found that out the hard way.
Well, around
That's
here,
not
the
good for
Amish do a
gardening.
lot of sawmill work, and they won't touch walnut because it burns the horse's hooves.
Oh.
Yeah. Probably does, yeah. There you go.
Hey, here's
Cool.
my
Next
turning
up
for
is
the week.
That is gorgeous.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful. Wow.
Very nice,
Beautiful.
Roger. That's beautiful. My first time turning the talpa.
Oh,
A little
that's an
softer
interesting
than I
wood,
thought
isn't it?
would be, but-
It's an interesting wood.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, that is.
How many pieces per ring there?
There's 241 pieces. 24 pieces per ring.
Okay.
You sure?
Did you use a jig on that? Or
Yes.
okay. Beautiful work.
Mhm.
Nice.
That was a great picture of you and your bowls on the back page of the newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
was really pretty.
Thank you.
Roger, did you say that was Catawba?
Yeah.
Ow, that's fuzzy stuff. How'd you manage that to get it come out that nice?
Slow turning. Actually,
Talent and
when
skill.
turning this, you got to turn it fast.
Yeah, you do.
Fast
Yep.
and light. Yep.
And if you sand it well enough, it gets smooth.
Yeah.
Yep. And sanding sealer helps. Sanding sealer
Sorry,
helps.
sorry,
Here I
Gary.
say, probably
Yeah.
sanding sealer.
What
This
type
has
of
got
wood
just one coat of lacquer on it so far, and that's it.
Hey,
And the wood
Roger.
is catalpa. Catalpa.
Thank you.
Catawba. Catawba. If you ever
Yeah,
gone
we call it
fishing,
bean
heard
tree here.
Catawba worms.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, it's
fast
beautiful.
growing
All
the
softwood.
The slang
All-
name
all the-
for it. The slang name for it is Indian cigar pod tree.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Roger. I just
all
heard
the
someone-
catalpa. Go ahead, Al.
No, I was just saying. I heard someone just mention. Did you use a jig on that? What jig are you talking about? For spacing or
We're
something
spacing
else?
the segments.
Uh-huh.
There's a few different jigs out there for that.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. That sounds good. Okay. So you had a flat. Probably close to the center of your
silly boy. Silly
spindle,
boy.
and then, like
Yes.
one at a time, and then indexing. Is that the way
That's
that
correct.
works?
Actually, mine's done off the lathe, and you can put it together, and then you put it on the lathe and smooth it out.
But you didn't build it on the lathe then.
Well, you have to have the lathe after you do each layer to make sure it's flat.
No. What my question is, building on a lathe. I mean, starting, you have a flat piece center of your spindle, and as you're indexing wheel one at a time, you glue your piece, then you move the section that you want, then you glue your piece. You actually build it on the lathe as it's
I
going.
build it on the jig on the bench.
Okay.
You glue one piece on, you turn it, you glue the next piece on, turn it.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
Let's see if we can find a video to send to you.
When you come to level up, you'll see it because I'll bring the jig.
Hot dog it. That's it.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's really pretty. It's a pretty piece.
Is it harder to make an open segment or a closed segment?
It's harder to do the open,
Yeah, I bet.
but it's quicker to turn the open,
Yeah.
but I don't know, it's just different. I thought, like I say, I'd never turned Catalpa before. I've seen the tree, I've been around the trees since I was a kid, so. But
Yeah, it's pretty wood.
It is.
my wife wanted an open segmented bowl, so. And when I first built it, I made a mistake. These two rows right here, I forgot to space them. They were tight. So I didn't like it, so I cut it apart and put it back together this way. But I had problems with the bottom row, kept breaking the pieces. And then I found out, well, the faster I went, the easier it was not to break them. So.
Very nicely done, Roger.
Yes. Beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
All right. Well, great. Well, thank you. Next up is Jim Duxbury. What you got, Jim?
Let me
Head on this guy.
let me switch gears here. Can you see that? Yeah. This
Yeah.
is
Sure.
a tower top.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Well done.
That's cute. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like it.
Hank paid to
Beautiful.
demonstrated those, didn't he?
That's okay when you're 8 years old, you know. But this is a spinner This turns 2,700 RPM. Okay?
Don't set
Yeah.
any.
You're a
Wow.
you're a madman. You're a madman. I love that idea.
To get this going right, you can go out for a beer after that.
What did you make that little thing out of there on your drill?
That's a socket with a socket with a rubber end in it. There's a lot to making a top.
Yes.
This one's bumping into the sides. I think I've got to concave the surface here. If that doesn't bump the sides, it runs forever. If you don't have anything to do someday, look up the dynamics of a top, because what keeps this upright in physics is a string of formulas as long as your arm. They make these in Germany. I don't even remember what they call them, Gesundheitshofer or something. But anyway, the weight in the whirl is the momentum. It changes potential energy to kinetic energy. But anyway, it's like a gyroscope, the thing that keeps it upright. And it's really interesting. There's an awful lot to making it. And they say it's really hard to do, but I figured out how to make it the simple way. But
Nice. I love it.
lots of fun.
Very cool.
For sure.
But the spin
Didn't Cade demonstrate?
Yes,
yes,
he did.
That
I made one right after it.
Yeah, and Ruby's made a few of them too.
A lot of little kids, 5 years old, can't twist their fingers like that. They don't have the coordination. So I make these in demos, and it's a two-handed top. And that works beautiful, and it's a wonderful demo. You can turn and hand them to the kids.
That's smoother than a gravy sandwich.
What?
That's smoother than a gravy sandwich.
If you get this,
Jim, can you show the bottom of that the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Can you bring it a little closer? No, the point.
This is a 3/4 inch.
Your right hand.
Walnut, and you take a block of wood and drill a hole in it. I think it's a 5/8 hole, and then we turn this. This would be square. We turn a tenon on the end of here, and then glue the block onto there. I must make 300 of these a year. But anyway, every now and then you get one that won't work, but this one works pretty good. This is going. Now that'll run all afternoon.
I like the 2 calculators too.
Oh yeah.
Anybody who's got 2 calculators.
Oh yeah.
Well, one's for him, one's for Rita.
I understand. I understand.
We got another one in the drawer. Anyway, lots of fun. You'll see more of these. They claim they're really hard to make, but if you draw it first, you figure out what it needs to make it work.
Where'd you come up with that design?
I saw it on YouTube, and then I think Mike Peace does them.
He just did that right last week or so.
And I don't know. And I thought, first off, the guys that make them don't understand the top. But this is the first one I made. The next one I make will have more weight in here, and it'll be. I think that surface has got to be concave because the side of this top is bumping into that rib, and you can see it bumping. If that was running,
if you make it concave, the top will stay in the middle.
Yeah, if that was running smooth, that would run all afternoon. Anyway, it's fun.
Very cool. I look forward to your explanations for the next ones.
Yeah, well, I'm working on it.
Very cool.
Okay.
All right, well, next up is Albert. What you got, Albert?
Oh boy. Let's see. Where is it at? I was cutting a piece of wood the other day, a log, and I was trying to make a square out of it. There was a branch, and I cut this branch off, and it just had that. And I set it over on my grandson's little workbench, and he came in this morning. He looked at it, and he goes, "Look at that, Pap. That's beautiful." He's 4.5 years old. He's already looking at wood and telling me what it looks like. That's one thing I want to tell you guys. Yeah,
That's cute.
All week it's been raining cats and dogs here without the rain. And, I've been making cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
I had an eighth one. I had another dog. As I was setting this up, I dropped it and I broke the ears off, and I can't find one of them. But, this is my grandson's workbench, and here's his chair he sits on, and this is what he does.
You
That's
get
all I
him
have.
bigger workbench.
What's that?
All right. Well, very cool. Those are really neat. So thanks, Al.
They're really good for little gifts. I mean, they are all here for gifts, and it's very simple. And you get the oohs and the ahs whenever they see them. So it's another thing maybe somebody would like to look at.
There you go. So next up is Mr. Hannaby. What you got, Paul?
Good evening or morning, whichever.
Hey, Paul.
We've been entertaining the grandkids for the last couple of days, and the youngest one, who's 4, said, "Can we make a go-kart?" I said, "Well, we've got no wheels for that, but I'll make you a model car." So we ended up with this.
Oh, nice.
That's
Very nice.
Pretty much the entire thing is turned. As you can see, the body of the car is suitably cylindrical and tapered. I've just drilled some holes in the top.
Excellent.
Inch and 3/4 hole in the top for these figures. Turn those. The grandkids did the painting on it today. So
nice.
Nice. What fun!
It's a fun project.
Joint effort, and I think our youngest grandson is quite pleased with this. But I had to glue the wheels on, so I told him he'd have to wait till the glue was dry before he could have it.
Cool.
So, but that was my project for a bit of yesterday and some of today. Finishing that for
Great fun.
Paul,
wonderful.
on the backside. On the
Yeah, I
backside,
mean, I wanted something I could do fairly quickly and easily, and that one sort of fitted the bill. So it didn't take too long, and I think it's achieved the goal of entertaining the grandkids for a while anyway.
right. Hey, on the backside, what you can do is drill some holes in to accept bottle rockets. Then you light the bottle rocket and go down the sidewalk.
Sure, we'd love that. Yeah.
Are they allowed to do that there?
Well,
I've actually got some little rocket.
You're only not allowed when you get caught. When you get caught, that's when you're not allowed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, when our kids were young, quite a few years ago now, we made a couple of like cardboard rockets, like 2-3 foot cardboard rockets, and put rocket motors in those, and like the little I forget what they're made out of, but you just light them and let them go, and they go up until they disappear into the sky and then come back down eventually.
Those are great.
Last some of those, I can attach one of those to the back of the car.
There you go. Those rocket motors are fantastic.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Make yourself a cap such that the little guys go up and down when you push it.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? One for the next project.
There you go. Thanks very much, Paul.
Cheers.
Next up is Jeff. What you got, Jeff?
Well, I've only been in the shop twice since Christmas. So I have nothing new, but in October of 21, our club had a gallery exhibit at the Starkweather Gallery in Romeo, Michigan. And the piece that I was making for it destroyed itself the night before when I was doing some final work on it. And so I went rummaging through my trash and found this bowl that had cracked on me, and the bottom was only 1/16 of an inch thick. So I grabbed it, made a run up to Woodcraft, and ended up putting this together.
Yeah, that's nice.
There you go.
Yep. It's severely spalted maple. It's sat out in outdoors for about 10 years.
Very
The
cool.
bottom, I
Very
grabbed a
cool.
piece of bloodwood from Woodcraft, and then the crack that had formed in it when I was turning, I filled in with resin, and I submitted it for the gallery with the name The Mixed Family, and I won first place. So,
Hey, how about that? Hey,
yeah,
how thick is the wood next to the insert? How thick is that right there next to the insert? Yeah,
down
right
in
there.
down in there, 3/8 of an inch probably.
Okay. Well, the reason I asked, looking at the camera, looks like the camera makes it look like I'm looking straight through it. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, that's interesting.
It makes it look like the curtain.
Oh, you know, you're right. It kind of goes with the curtain. Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's a good example of failures becoming a success.
There you go.
Nice recovery, Jeff.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
The how good a wood turner is how well he can hide his mistakes.
Yeah. And that was also when I was working on that, because it was severely spalted on the inside, I was getting a lot of tear out, and I was driving myself nuts trying to sand it, and then just more tear out. And I came across a YouTube video where a guy said he mixes resin 50-50 with acetone, paints it on, and lets it set overnight, and that takes care of the problem. I did that, and it was a piece of cake after that.
Yeah, Kim Tippin started that, by the way.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yes, she did.
Yeah.
I miss her
Very cool.
turnings.
I do too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Jeff. Next up is Mr. Matza. What you got, sir?
I'm in?
Yeah. You're
Yes.
in.
Okay. I will try. I don't know, see if it works. You guys see it?
Yes, we do.
Yes. Mhm.
Sure.
It's the camera above. I mean, it's about 13 inches tall, maybe 8.5 wider. And it gives me very hard time to hollow.
Oh, yeah.
With Invent tool, you have a carbide to go in about maybe that's 200 RPM. It can go higher and maybe less. And that's shaking all over the place, but I access to hollow it. Somehow, I don't know if you can see the inside. No, you can't see. It's no light. You can hear that it's almost empty. You hear the top? It's about 316. Yeah.
Thin. It's
all of
thin.
it. Yeah.
Beautiful,
And
beautiful
I
work.
find it some, from a tree guy like 10 years ago, hiding someplace in my my basement. And
What kind of wood?
It's a bowl. Maple bowl.
Maple. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Pretty.
Beautiful.
Real pretty.
Yes.
Nice job on that,
I
Heinz.
mean, the carbide hollowing tool. That's this is the first time I thought too deep ago. I really not like it. I really changed the system because it was vibrate all over the place. And it low speed, but 180, 200. That's it. I can go higher.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's but
Yeah,
it says the
job
hollow with the laser. I got it did very good, but it get very hard time.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah,
But
all
it
that
did
crazy
it.
grain in it. All that
Yeah.
crazy grain in it made it difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful piece, though.
Very
Yes, it
nice.
Yeah, very pretty.
Yep.
And you got to be happy with successfully turning that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Very nice.
very cool.
Yep.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
And next up is Donna. Let's see what Donna has.
Oh, is it
Yep.
me? Sorry.
Yep,
There
you.
she
It's you.
is.
So I did this pipe, and I carved
Wow.
it. This is argillite, which is a stone up here, and then but what I did was I was trying to take a picture of it. It was almost done, and I dropped it, and I knocked off this talon, flew off, broke into a bunch of pieces. So I carved another one, and then You can't see it. You can't see the line. It actually, I joined it right here. I carved the new one to fit in right there. And yeah, so
It's beautiful.
was lucky it worked. I didn't think it would, but it did. So
What is the bowl made? What is the bowl carved from, Donna?
this is all argillite.
Okay.
So I turned it, and then
I guess I don't know what that is. Is that a
carved it.
stone, or is that a stone, or is that wood? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a type of stone that is native to the island up here, called argillite.
Okay, great. Okay, beautiful.
And then this was bloodwood.
Fantastic. That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Fabulous.
Too pretty to smoke.
They probably said that about the meerschaum pipes too.
Pardon?
I said they probably said that about the meerschaum pipes they carved too, back in the day. But beautiful, beautiful. My point is they smoked them anyway. So.
Right. Yep.
Can you cut stone with a knife, or what do you cut stone with?
Pardon?
How did you carve it? How did you
stone
carve
with?
it?
I used a little carving tool for some of it, and then I used a Fordham with a little burr. Sorry, my dog's chasing a bone around the floor. Of course, now, right? She picks the bone up. So yeah, so in between the two, on the real fine areas, like on these edge of the claws and stuff, especially, I used a small burr on a Fordham.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you can carve some soft stone. You can turn on the lathe, and you can carve most stone.
Yeah, I turned it on the lathe first to get the bowl inside, and get that shape to about here, and then I turned it so that it was kind of shaped like that on the outside, and then I just had to carve, but I couldn't go very far down because I had this piece here that.
Right.
And then I turned the bottom as well so that I could fit this on. So there's actually like a little foot on the bottom. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Those steps that you just described are just perfect. Yes. Well, that's nice. That's very nice.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Well, can we ask you, was it a hard stone? I mean, was it soft?
It's pretty soft stone. Yeah, it's a little harder than soapstone. I used to do a lot of soapstone carving. So it's a little harder than soapstone, but it's actually quite soft, like as far as a stone goes, which is, I was lucky it didn't shatter when I dropped it, and only this one broke off.
Right.
It should have, the whole thing.
Negative space. Yeah. Wow.
I was just really lucky. I think because I kind of kicked it with my foot on the way down, trying to catch it a little bit.
And what's the stone called again, Donna? What's the stone called again?
It's argillite.
Argillite. ARGILLITE. Argillite.
Got it.
Yeah. In the chat there.
It's the preferred stone for the Haida carvings also.
Yes. Yeah. For
yeah,
Haida carving.
yeah.
I'm an adopted member, so there's a little leeway that I can use some stuff, but if I was trying to sell stuff that was argillite, there'd be a problem. So it's really just for the Haida people. And my piece of argillite, I've got a few chunks that are given to me, and you can find it on the beaches if you know where to look. But there's a mine, and it's just for Haida. So.
Understood.
Oh, wow. Very cool. History
Beautiful
lesson
piece.
too. Beautiful piece of art and a history lesson. Gotta like it.
Thank you, Donna. All right, Dane. Well, she was the last on my list, so back to you.
Great. Well, for folks that we got about 78 people online right now. So those that haven't put your name on the list for a gallery, go ahead and throw your name in the chat, and we will get to you. But for now, I'm going to swing over to Captain Eddie. We're going to talk a little bit about Level Up, and then we'll get on to our featured demo for the evening. Hey, Captain, you're muted. You're muted, Cap.
Button, where's the button? Okay.
There we go.
All right. I got a big screen that says unmute yourself. Okay,
No, you're
we'll
fine.
talk a little bit about level up because we want to get you folks up to date on it. And just a few minutes ago, Al Dawson had said, "Hey, I want to know about this jig." And I'm thinking, well, you know, Al, we can probably find a video and refer you to a video on how these jigs work and lay out. But then there's probably 50 different ideas on how to do those jigs. So we're going to have a member bring a jig to level up. That's one of the many things that will be at the level up. You see, that's why this is being put together. Level up is a program that we're putting together, unlike any other program in the entire world that's ever been put together by a membership of a club, not a business program. It is a program to spread the news and growth of wood turning. And it's for people like Al and others who want to further their knowledge of what's going on. It's not there to sell gizmos, gadgets, tools, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, we have some vendors there to help you out if you need to purchase a few things. We're very select about what's going to happen there. Very, very select. We're not being bought by a vendor. We're not being swayed by the dollar. We're being teased by the knowledge that we need to have and we want to get. And that's what's driving this bus. This whole thing came about with members saying, can't we get together and grow? And that's what we're going to do. It's going to happen September 2026. That's not that far away. And what it's going to do, we're going to have pods. Now, get this. We're going to be in the spot. And there's going to be lathes, 20 plus lathes. Yes, which means there'll be 20 plus people turning each time that there's something going on. And you'll have people in there, the coach will be in there to teach you how, and they'll have aides to be there with you. And you actually do turning. And you can develop a project here, go over there and finish it out, or take a project here and then take it to a table over there and have somebody teach you how to embellish it or stretch it or improve on it or increase the art value of it. And you see, many of us can turn, but we don't know where to go after that. And we get into these little quandaries as, God, I saw that guy do that, but how's he going to finish it? And I mean, we've seen some pieces tonight come up in the gallery and say, wow, isn't that magnificent? You haven't seen magnificent. Those are rough pieces. Wait till they finish them out. Most of the time before we get to see them, our members have traded them off, sold them off, bartered them off or whatever, and we don't get to see the sparkling diamond as it's finished. That's why we ask you to send us photographs for our newsletter, because that's your opportunity to show us your diamonds. Well, when you come to level up, you're going to get to learn how to polish those diamonds yourself. You'll be able to sit there with people who do this and actually do the work, find out how it's done, ask questions. Now, you've been to seminars where questions were kind of limited, or if there were questions, they had to be keyed to that particular key item and this discussion. No. That's if you're regimented to $1. We're not regimented to $1. We want to know all about this. We want to get it all down to it. And you're going to be in a room full of wood turners, and they're going to share this information. There'll be pods and classes each day. Your tuition gets you a meal. Okay, so you don't have to worry about running off the cream or Burger King or Deli Queen or whatever to get lunch and rushing back or paying a fortune.
One.
You've been to those places where you had to
two.
Hello. Where you had to pay a fortune to get a lunch or a sandwich. No, that's not going to happen. We'll take care of that. And then we're going to have a little special event on Saturday evening at the end of the whole thing. But we're putting this in that separate. Okay. It was there, but it's not in your tuition cost. And tuition, because this is a school. Yes. So we're using different terms. And we're using different approaches on getting this done and putting it together. And we do go to our membership to find more folks to do this, where we have got deals with our demonstrators or our coaches. Yes. And we're bringing these people in just to get really, if you want to be right about it, I want to get you in there and pick your brain. And isn't that nice? Wouldn't you like to do that? Wouldn't you like to know somebody that turns, that you really like their work, and you can stand there and say, tell me about this. How'd you get this? How'd you achieve it? This is going to be like Hal Dawson's dream. I mean, he sits there and goes, wow, how'd you do that? Well, you get to do that too. Wow, how'd you do that? And the guy's going to be right there and answer you. But guess what? It's not going to be just one guy, one gal, one person answering you. You're going to have the input from wood turners all around the world to add to it, because it's not all just one blank answer. We've all been in these places where they say, he's the instructor, but he says goes, no change. No, it's the world of wood turning. It changes every single second. Level Up brings you that change every single second. It's unknown how this will change and adjust to meet your needs, but that's what it's going to do, meet your needs. So this is, folks, I'm saying right now, it is a one-time event that it's not the only time I'm going to do this, but it's a one-time event that you can benefit from. Really enjoy yourself, be with other wood turners, gain a lot from wood turning, go home with something solid instead of a book, or a pamphlet. This is one way that will matter. You will go home with your own art, and your heart will be full of information and knowledge that you gained at Level Up. And I don't know of another event in the entire world that can match up to this. It's being put on by your membership, your folks, the people sitting right there in front of you. They're putting this thing together. We meet every couple of weeks to fine tune it. Remember, we can't go down a path and hope for the best. We're building a highway. The highway goes straight to Wisconsin. And right there, you're going to find the finest in wood turning at Level Up. And every time we meet with our weekly meeting, we'll give you a little bit of what's going on and who's going to be there and who we have targeted. Targeted? Yeah, because you see, I want to find out what's going on in your mind too. And that's the beauty of this. You see, I might have Matt Harber on right there on the lathe, but I've got Jeff right over here next to me. And as Matt's turning, I'm listening to Jeff throw a nickel on the table all the time, and I'm thinking, okay, that's pretty good. But Bob's over here, and Bob says, don't pay attention to Jeff. Let me tell you what's going on. So I've got some feed going on. And so if you think I got to get locked into one demonstrator, yes, I'm going to be paying attention to the coach, but I have the availability for all this other stuff because maybe some of it is over my head and I'm looking for reason, and reason may come with other turners. So that's what you can find at Level Up. It's not a curriculum that you can't follow. It's a curriculum everybody can follow. So we've got this put together to benefit wood turning. That's why we meet each week. Dane, do we have somebody tonight that's going to tell us what they're going to, whose brain we're going to pick?
Yeah, we're gonna switch over to Mr. Brent, and he is going to tell us about some chemical patentation that he does. I think he showed us a piece 3-4 weeks ago, but Brent's going to be there, and he's going to be doing an anchor session. And so here's Brent. He can tell us a little bit about it. Hey,
What you doing, Brent?
Hey, how y'all doing? Yeah, Dane asked me if I could present something and such, and I tried to think of something that I could do that was a little different than everybody else. I don't want to show off my pathetic turning skills against some of those awesome turners that are going to be out there and such. So I thought we'd go with some metal leaf and chemical patination stuff, since I don't recall seeing chemical patination on this thing before. So what it'll look like, this is a bowl I did a long time ago and such. This one has copper leaf, imitation gold, and silver. Actually, that green is all silver and such. There's been chemically patinated and such. So
Wow.
just treating it with different chemicals and such to cause different patinas within the metals and such. So we'll be going over some metal leafing techniques to hopefully maybe bring your game up on the metal leafing. And then we'll be doing some chemical work. Been trying to think about how to do some hands-on work on this, and the timing and the logistics of this is just going to be really, really difficult. But got a year to think about this yet and such. So we're going to do it probably, but going to end up being mainly demo kind of work and such. But we might be able to pull off a little hands-on stuff and such. But
Awesome.
it's kind of what
Oh,
we're
just
thinking.
for an anchor
It's
session,
okay. It's
that'll be
it's
great.
okay. It's okay if folks paint it and let it sit out for the rest of the afternoon. You know what I mean? While the patination works. You know.
Well, the problem is you can't apply leaf and chemical patination the same day. But
Gotcha.
and we also have to worry about sizing. So the size, you put the size on, you got to wait an hour. You only got an hour to work with it and such. So there's a lot of logistic issues and timing issues and such. They're challenging, but
We'll get that figured out.
so
So you'll have to do some Blue Peter stages then or something. Okay, cool.
something like that. So, but anyhow, so if this kind of thing appeals to you, we'll play. So
I think it's
Yeah,
gonna
for
be.
sure.
okay.
Go ahead, Dewey.
I said I think that'll be a good thing to watch.
Well, I hope.
I agree.
I'm fascinated and I'm in. So yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
wait,
I've
Brent.
never heard of chemical patination before until Brent was talking to me about it. I'm like, oh wow, that sounds like something that would be
The
really legitimately neat to see and learn.
the master at that is David Marks. Look up David Marks. His work is just absolutely amazing.
It is.
Such so look up his work and get some ideas what it can be done and such. So
Right on. Thank you very much, there, Brent. All right, so with that, so I'll briefly go over some of the pricing for the event. So the cost for an individual to attend and take part in the sessions is going to be $160. If you're a turning couple and you both are wanting to take part in the turning and off lathe projects, it's going to be $300. If you're coming for a single day, the cost is going to be $80. And if you're a plus one that just wants to do some off lathe projects, whether it's piercing, carving, patination, um, um, embellishing, whatever it is, it's an off lathe project. That's going to be $80. And then let's see, and then if you're a plus one and you're just there waiting for the attendee to waiting for chow time, that fee for that plus one is only going to be $15 for evening chow. So we're keeping all the costs extremely low to maximize participation. To bring in the people that are typically priced out of these type of turning events. This is, it's revolutionary prospect of what we're doing. It's nothing that you can find anywhere else, and I'm sure anybody and everybody that's gone to something with any of the organizations, their pricing is far and above what we're looking at doing. The emphasis of it is on worldwide wood turners for worldwide wood turners, giving back and getting the folks here, not only here from the Zoom club, but also the online clubs and the people that watch in the background on the YouTubes that are frequent to our web page, and also the various folks that'll probably be coming that are locally and when I say locally, there's probably going to be folks coming, 200-300 mile radius just from word of mouth and the online presence of Level Up. So we're definitely hoping to have a lot of attendance on it. And then so with that, I'm going to get off my soapbox about it. I know we had a question from Al Dawson. So Al, I will give it to you to pop that question, and we'll see if we can answer it for you right here.
Yeah.
What you got?
My wife and we were talking today, and I said, I was, talking about, Level Up. Okay, it's going to be a year and a half from now, and we're talking, and now, and I said to her that that there's a place where they have 50 rooms all blocked off right now. Maybe we should just go and get our room right now. And she asked this question. She goes, well, what if something should happen and we don't make it? Hotels don't give you back your money unless you have an insurance on it.
Typically, they give you a reservation. They give you a reservation. They don't charge you until you actually check in.
And actually, most hotels will give you 24 to 48 hours to cancel before.
Yeah, that's no
problem. Again, I'm thinking if something even happens next month, I'm not thinking about what I have to do.
Right.
No, that's understandable.
That's a question if you had. I said, I don't know. I'm going to ask it tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to say 99% hotels, they don't charge you until you check in.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah. Do you think you have to put
in my experience, I have never been charged until I check in.
Yeah, you're right.
Call them and ask them.
Albert, I put in my reservation last week and I have not gotten a charge yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could always call the hotel and ask them what their policy is.
Yep.
Al, ask them at the time of registration, because you have to, in order to book these rooms, you have to call the hotel direct.
Right, of course. Right. I'm just throwing it out there. It was a question that her and I
good question.
Come up with
good
today.
Question. Right. A lot of folks don't, travel and make hotel bookings in the advance. So it's
health here is just a little bit like, things have changed.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, that's a very good question. And then, so with that, so we got so Scott went to the Hotel Mead, which is one of the big resort hotels there. It's about 10 minutes away from where we're going to be holed up at the Lions Club, for Level Up, what I like to refer to as the compound. And so they've blocked off 50 rooms for Level Up at a rate of $130 a night. And so all you got to do is call the Hotel Mead to book your reservation. Tell them you're with Level Up, and they will pull up that booking fee. And currently we've got, I think, 48 or 47 rooms still available. So,
if everything works out, and a lot of these rooms are gone and taken care of, there should probably be no problem for that hotel to probably have some kind of a service of travel back and forth to the reason why a lot of these rooms are being booked. So that's another big concern is, having fun with some people here and driving, so, I mean, I want to make sure that that's all covered.
Call them and ask them.
Yeah, of course.
We have.
Right. I mean, the most logical answer. I should have not even said it because it's right.
We have local taxi service here. We're a small town, but we still have 2 local taxi services. There's other services that go along with that stuff. So I mean, I believe there's Uber here, but I'm not 100% sure because I've never had to use Uber, but I'm sure it's here. I mean, we have everything else. We have DoorDash. We have all the delivery services. We're spread out. We're a small city community, but we're a large metropolitan area. You know, most of our residents live outside the city proper. So there's a lot of things here, Al, that will definitely work for you, and we can figure it out. As far as the hotel goes, when we get down to 20 rooms, they're going to call me and ask if I want to put aside some more rooms. So just don't be worried that you're going to run out of rooms. There's a possibility that I can get a few more rooms, depending on how their bookings are at that time. But
sure.
But they're going to stay in contact with me, and as the rooms fill up, they will send me reports every other month. I believe she said she'd send me a bi-monthly report of how many rooms are still available, and when I get that, I will definitely pass it along to everybody so they know whether they should start booking or how soon they should start booking.
All right. Well, it seems to me this could be about as big as Woodstock. So better get going here.
For those interested, the hotel,
that was a play on words. Woodstock, that was a play on words.
Yeah, we
yes,
got
it was. I picked up what you're laying down.
For those interested, the hotel name, phone number, and reservations number and address are in chat. So save the chat.
Thank you.
And you want to talk to the front desk.
Correct.
You need to talk to the front desk. If you talk to their operator, she won't know what you're talking about. You need to speak to somebody at the front desk.
Got it.
And then with that,
Right,
we'll transfer, if you got 50, if we got 50 people staying at the hotel, I'm sure the majority of those folks are going to have some mode of transportation. Worst case scenario, we'll be throwing people in the back of a couple pickup trucks and shuttling you back and forth. So I don't think there will be much of an issue on transportation. So I wouldn't worry about that in the least bit.
There's also free breakfast in the morning.
That's
hotel. Great.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes it quicker.
That's necessary.
Yeah.
How does the Hotel Mead continental breakfast or morning breakfast compared to the Hotel Cobblestone breakfast?
Probably better because they have a large restaurant right inside the hotel itself.
There you go. That's the answer I was looking for. Thanks, Scott.
It's the main convention center for this area, for all the big business in this area. So it's where all the snooty people stay. As I always call it.
It's well appointed. Is that what you're saying? Yes.
Yes, it's a very classy, well-run place. Has been for many, many years. It's probably, well, I know it's at least 50 years old because it's been here as long as I have, or as long as I can remember, anyways. So it's where all the paper mill people used to stay when we had a huge paper mill here in town. It's where all the cranberry growers stay when they come for their annual convention. It's a pretty nice place.
Hey, Scott, do you remember what happened last week?
Last week?
Yeah. You said
last week.
Memory can go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what happened last week?
Yeah, my mind is gone.
I didn't write it down, so it must not have been important. So, all right. So with that, so if there's any questions, use our email address, levelup@worldwidewoodturners.org. Follow the Facebook page. I've got an events page with the event posted on there and information listed underneath the event tab on the Facebook page. And then if not, hit us up personally. Can't remember the level up at worldwidewoodturners.org, which I put in earlier. And with that, there's no other questions that needed to be answered at the moment. We will get on with the rest of the program.
Can I ask
let's
a
go
question real quick?
Well, yes.
If is there any of the ladies that are going by themselves that would like to share a room? If so, give me a call.
For sure. and that would be very advisable for folk, if you want to partner up, because the block of 50 rooms are 2 queens. And then something else to look at is, they got Airbnb and they got Verbo up there as well. And we all know how pricing is on Airbnbs and Verbos. They're real cheap, for the same cost as a hotel. Multiple bedrooms make it even cheaper. So that's something to look into as well. Good question there, Brenda.
Okay.
All right, let's run over to Safety Sue, get her safety moment on, and then we'll get to our demo.
Hey, Dane, one more thing. Did you mention it already about the Google thing?
No.
I found out the other day about Googling wood turning clubs.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so not level up related. So me and Scott were talking the other day, and Scott had noticed that when he did a Google search just with the basic turn of wood turning clubs, that Worldwide Wood Turners came up #1 for him. And so I did it, and my search came up with Worldwide being #2, with #1 being the local Arizona chapter. And so thought that was kind of neat. It just shows the amount of searches that are being done for Worldwide Wood Turners, and we have 0 advertisement or 0 push pins loaded for Google. So thought that was we both thought that was a neat statistics within the Google search engine.
Yep.
So maybe you guys
Nice.
do the same
Nicely.
and see what it comes up for you.
Nicely done.
It comes up number 6 for me.
Well, you got all those Texas chapters, so
Comes up #2 for me.
Yeah, no, one of them is AAW.
Mine is showing all Michigan clubs.
Yeah. So,
Well,
but
the
yeah,
reason
it was interesting.
the reason that conversation started, I went to my local club, and one of the guys was trying to Google AAW symposium in St. Paul, and ours popped up first before theirs.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
Right. So that means there's obviously a lot of online digital queries taking place outside of the current masses, within our little sect that we have right here. So, I thought it was good to know and good to hear. So, yeah, look at that, #1 for Brent. How about that? So he's out in Wyoming. So, all right. So with that, let's go to Safety Sue.
Hi there, guys.
We got you now.
Let's talk about environmental safety today. Basically, it's how we keep our shops. Keep the shop clean after working. Wood shavings and dust are flammable and can be super dangerous. Make sure that you have at least 1 fire extinguisher in your shop. And keep it handy. Be cautious of flammable liquids that you may use, whether that be oils that as they dry, they create their own heat. So please, folks, when you're working with oils or any other substance that is flammable, take extra precautions. Don't leave tools on the lathe that might fall off. And with that, make sure you have proper footwear on in case they fall on your foot. Frequently remove shavings from the floor while turning. If the floor is not clean, you could slip. And a lot of us are over, we'll say, six decades. And it's not really good if we fall. Keep your work well lit. I've got so many lights in my shop that I'm sure that you could see it from the space station, but that's okay because then I can see what I'm doing. Make sure that your shop is well lit. And if it's not, try to add more lighting. I put LED strips all the way around my shop. And I also have a couple of lights around my lathe. And for those little items that need magnification, I also have one of those that lights up the piece and also makes it larger. Keep your work area well ventilated. No matter what you're doing, whether you're using your laser, whether you're using your lathe or your grinder or anything else that could harm you with its dust or its smoke or whatever, make sure you have proper ventilation, especially when you're spraying something. We don't need that in our lungs, and we want you here for a very long time. Make sure that your lathe is bolted down or otherwise fixed. Prevent it from moving. If it moves on you, oh my gosh, you don't want that to happen. You're no longer on the tool rest. Your banjo might be going off, everything. So please, folks, be safe out there. We are responsible for our own safety. It just takes a few minutes to get things going and being able to come inside with all your lungs, not just being able to breathe halfway, all your fingers, all your toes. And I want to see you safe for next week. So, folks, take care. Have a great, safe week. And I'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
All right, very good.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
Hey, question on that fire extinguisher. Should we make sure it's properly charged and then the arrow is in the little green section of the gauge?
Well, yeah, but
That's a good idea.
The bigger sections, you should have them checked all the time, once every 6. But they have these small ones now that aren't any bigger than a can of paint. And I keep a few of those in my shop because they will put out almost any kind of fire.
Yep. Very good.
Can I add one thing to that too on the lighting?
Yes.
Yes.
Harbor Freight has always got LED shop lights for $19, and they're phenomenal.
Well, that's what I got.
Yep, I got them all over my shop.
Yeah, so do I.
Indeed. Yep. All right, thanks, y'all. All right, so for this evening, we've got this guy here doing a part 2 on his Dux Chuck jig. And so I'm just going to have Jim do a brief macro description of what he's doing, and then we'll jump back over to my screen and I'll do a share screen and we'll start playing the video. So go ahead, Jim, you can introduce it.
Great, thank you. This should be interesting. I'll tell you, I've learned a lot doing these demos. I can turn most anything, but as far as demos, this has been a learning experience. This is what we're going to show tonight. The first one we showed was an offset or a bowl with an offset cavity. This is a bowl with an offset cavity and these inlays put in, or router inlays. These are square pieces put into with a 90-degree cutter. This was in Tom Kenny's shop. Tom Kenny's got a gorgeous shop, and Walt Wager did the editing. The only excuse I have is me, I guess. So now we're going to make the same kind of a thing, a bowl that's centered with an offset cavity. And the thing is, the cavity on this is set probably a quarter of an inch above center. We're going to cut these inlays in with a router, and the center of that is going to be way down here, so that you can see these all point way down here. That's how we're going to do this. And there's all different kinds of things you can do with this. These are just a couple of them. This one, I did the same kind of a thing. I didn't put an inlay in. It just cut. These are 90-degree slots, cut with about an 1.5 inch cutter, or 1 inch cutter on this. And I'll show the inlays later. But same kind of thing. Well, this also this is an OG or an ID cut rather than OD, like that, so that you can see, you can get the different shapes on the bottom, as long as you leave yourself enough thickness to do the cutting on the top. Okay, so we're going to start out with the same procedure. We'll start with a block of wood, a round block of wood. We're going to put it in the center up against the faceplate, turn a recess in here, and then I'm going to turn this around and I'll mount it in a chuck, and then it'll be in a chuck here instead of this faceplate. And now I'll bring this up, put this in here, tighten this up, put glue on it, and mount that in place. So then we have this sort of thing. We've got the groove cut on this side, and we have a tenon, sacrificial tenon on this side. Pause. Now we've got the piece with the sacrificial tenon glued on the end of it, and I'm going to radius this. I'll tell you what, I'm going to, instead of being an OD, I'll do a recess on this side. But everything's in place. Flatten the bottom out. I like a face shield. Safety glasses are all right, but I like a face shield. I don't like that. That's better. Since this is a side grain piece, I'm going to turn from the bottom out. Nice radius. You pivot on your thumb. You make a nice radius almost every time. And I'll just clean this up. This is it. Now I'd actually sand this and get it finished up. I think that's pretty close to where I want to be. I would probably designate a foot. This is going to be, I like the smaller. This is fun to do, but you got to watch real close now when you start turning the recessed bowl inside. I might have gone a little further than I normally do. But that's how you do things in a demo, right? It's got a bit of danger. Put the foot on here. And recess in here. Normally I would sand this all up. And keep that off the tool rack. And I'm too lazy to move it. But That looks pretty good, I think. This would be all sanded. Although I could sand it later. I have a flat surface here. I could sand it later. But now I'll take this off and show what has to be done next. Pause. Now we have the piece turned. I have a sacrificial tenon on the back, and I'm going to start to do some layout on the front. First thing I do is put this in here and put the piece. One more hand, then. Put the piece in the lathe and make this horizontal like this. That's horizontal there. Now I'm going to put this in. The grain's running this way, and I've decided to I'm going to put the inlays in pointing down this way, and this will be the narrow part of the bowl. So I'm going to put this in. I've drawn a line. In fact, I'll draw a better line so you can see it. And so I can see it too. Right about here. Now, I've already done this in ink. Is that too much reflection? Can you see that?
Let's put it up closer to the camera. Yeah, that helps. That helps. Good.
Right there, I think you can see. This is the center. This is the center of the bowl, of the whole thing. This is going to be the center of the cavity in the bowl. And down here is the center of the inlays looking in. You can hardly see these. I've drawn these, and I'll show cutting that. But right now, you don't want to. You want to have this defined. So what I'll do is I'll take my compass and I'll put it in the offset circle here. Tighten this up, and I'll swing an arc. It could be in this one. I'm swinging an arc now. This will be the cavity of my bowl, if I could hold the thing. So now I know where the cavity is going to be. And I don't cut that first because I want these inlays, when you see the strips I'm going to inlay into there, to come inside of this. And then when I cut the bowl cavity, I cut the inlay and the cavity at the same time. Otherwise, you cut the cavity, and then after you inlay these, you have to reset this to try to find that cavity, which can be done, but it's almost impossible. So right now, I'm going to do the router cuts of the inlays. That router cut is down here. It's a ½ inch below center here. So I'm going to set this up a ½ inch below center. And then I'll show this. So now we've got this kind of laid out. I'm going to use a table that I've made. This is a welded plate with the tool rest is my son's old weight bar. That fits in here. with that spacer. Now that's going to give me, my router's going to sit on here. And it's going to be, have a router. It's a Bosch router with a little stand I made. And the router bit is a 1-inch diameter, 90-degree. You've got to make sure it's a V cutter. They make 90-degree cutters that are not ground all the way to the end, to the tip. And when you use them in a router table, you can plane a board or whatever, put chamfer the edges of anything, and it works beautiful. But when you go to cut a V, that square on the end puts a flat bottom in the slot. This is a V cutter. And it's going to sit on here and go like this. As soon as I get it all set up, the indexing now is not easy. This is half of it. Working on everybody else's lathe, the height and everything else is all different, and you're not too sure where you're at. But anyway, this part is going to go into the. This part is going to go down in the bed of the lathe. Move this out of the way, and in fact, I can move all this out of the way, I suppose. This is going to go in the bed of the lathe. This is kind of neat. There's a pin in here. So when you put this in the lathe, it's going to go down between the slot. When you turn this to tighten it, it turns 90 degrees and hits this pin. And that lets you tighten it. When you loosen it up, and when it turns this way, it hits the pin the other way, and it's parallel to the lathe bed, so it lets it release. So I'm going to put this in here now and turn this with a flat screwdriver until it tightens up. It doesn't have to tighten up real tight. It just has to hold it in that slot. That's a little big. And then this part goes up and down. Register my 0. I have to take the check off. Once I take the check off, I can put my indexing wheel on here. This takes a little while, but it's got to be set up right, because the register on this has got to be the same as what you've got on the bowl. And if it isn't, your inlays are going to be cut at a different angle to the bowl. This is my indexing wheel. This is masonite. It's been screwed to a lot of different things. But anyway, it's every 5 degrees. There's a slot. I've cut a slot in here, and this fits over the spindle onto the boss at the back. And you screw this on here like this. This is not only the check, but it's the nut that holds things in place, with a nut that does it. And now, this is a piece of plywood, but it's also a tool. When I set this on the table here, that's exactly the height of my cutter, so I know where my cutter's at. Right now I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to tighten this. Should have done this before. I've got a smaller key at home, but got a lot of things at home. It should tighten. I'm tightening this in here now, because this now is going to be that's where my table has to be parallel to this bar that's in here. However, I want this to 0, so I want to loosen this and turn this so that it zeros when I clamp it on here. I want this to be parallel to my indexing wheel. That's pretty close. Doesn't have to be exact, but I like it pretty close. That's pretty close. Now I can take this out. And now to set this at 0, I bring this out to wherever I have to be. Move this over. This thing, I don't know if you can see this. This thing now has a bolt through, a carriage bolt through here. There's a carriage bolt through here with a wing nut on the other side. So now we've got this wheel locked on here with a chuck, and I've got this board locked in here. This is set at 0. And I want the 0, when it's at 0, I want that thing to be parallel with the table. So I've made this slot so I can raise this up and down. And I want it, if I want it exactly right, I can even measure this with a ruler. And then I can tell. It's 2 3/4, 3. So I want this to be up a little bit, just a touch. There's a touch. Two 3/4, 3. So this, just to go up a little bit, I didn't raise it. Okay. And 3, almost 3. Perfect. So now this is parallel with the table. Doesn't look that way, but it is. That means when I put this in the chuck, my 0 line now is registered with this plate, and it's parallel to this table. So I can take this out of here. And I can put this in here. Pause. Okay, now the chuck, this table, when I bring this table up here, I can see that that's 0 to 0. It's parallel to this chuck. I'm set at 0 over here, so my register is right from here to there. Okay? Now, lower this, get it out of the way. I'm going to put the bolt in here, like that, and I'm going to move it to this side here. So this is parallel now. My center line that I put on here before is parallel to the table. Let me lock this down a little more. Too much. And I'm going to bring this around now to where that's, you could actually see it this way, to where this is centered now on our register right here. This is parallel to this. So I tighten this up. Now I want to move it off center. And I could show that over here. I'm going to move this off center now, this way. So that the center's over here. That's it. Yeah, there it is. And I'm going to tighten this up. That saves you measuring. You could measure the offset. You could measure the offset up here, but this way you've got it exactly on the center. So now I know after all that, I know that this is parallel with this. Should be, yeah. And I got this out of touch. I can drop this down to here. Get to the slot here, right there. And now, I know that this right now is going to hit, this should be 0 here, which it is, and it should be 0 here, which it is. 0 there, and 0 there. Nothing to it, huh? Okay. Make sure this is tight. Now, the depth of cut is set. There's a shelf on here. So this is my depth of cut. The router sticking out, whatever depth that is. But I'm going to cut the first one at 0. And I'm going to bring this in. It's going to be parallel. And I could try that right there, I think. Lock everything up. Now I'm going to cut on the 0 line here. This is why you do it in pencil. I've got this thing backwards. I'm on the right center. This is set right. Now I have to rotate this because I want to cut this one first. There's not too much to think about. You just have to. I'm going to cut this one first. That's perfect. That's the right height. That's got to be parallel. It's locked in. This is the depth. Everything's locked. Perfect. Okay, always look twice before you make the first cut, because after that it's over. You can see the center of the bowl. This is going to be our first cut. I'm going to go 11/16. I'll try this and see how much I've cut. Ready? And stick in the middle. I like the cut, it's perfect. It's not quite deep enough. It's always best to go not quite deep enough and then move it in a little bit. That's a little too deep, I think. There's no fine adjustment on this. This is just by eye, and it also could be done at an angle. I think I want to touch right there. Is that still not out enough? Final cut, blow everything out of here, don't get near that router. Okay. Now we've got our first cut, and this is going to be what it looks like when we take a piece of square stock and inlay it in there. It's going to look like that. I'll show that later.
Hold on a second.
This is just square stock. This is maple, and this is Wengi. Okay, so now we know that we're going to do 30 degree. This is 0. I'm going to index to 30 degrees, which is here. That's going to give me a cut in here. You always pull the router this way. The router is spinning this way, and if you push it this way, it wants to climb. We pull it this way, it wants to press into the table, and that's what you want. 60 degrees. It's pretty good. Also, this is fine enough or a good enough adjustment. I could go back to any of these. So that thing really works. Also, this is a square router, 90-degree router that I could put a square piece in, and that works good. But you could also have a round cut around there, a bullnose, and that would put in you could lay a dowel in there and clamp it, and that would work too. So I'll do one more and then I'll do the other side. That's enough of that side. I'll go to 0. I'll go up beyond 0, 30 degrees. Now we're cutting the other half. You go more, whatever. that should be it. Now, the whole thing is cut. And you can see I cut short pieces and lay them in here. These longer ones, they're longer pieces, but you can see where you can actually see where the bowl cavity is going to be. So you cut these long enough to extend over the outside and go well into the middle, just so you can turn that out. And through the miracle of video, we happen to have one that's all glued up. Voila. And now I have to remove the indexing part of this thing, because we can turn this and we're going to go off center, but we're not going to do the router part. That's done now. And the indexing wheel can come off. And this can come out. That screwdriver is the hardest thing to find in there. Now I've taken the thing we just cut, I've glued the pieces into here, so we've got all our inlays glued in. I ran around the outside of this with a bandsaw. Each one of these sticks out like 1/4 of an inch. So rather than try to cut those off, I hit it with a bandsaw. And now, I don't know where the center is on this thing. About here, I think. I'm going to plane these off. I shifted this from the center that I had for the inlays, which was about down here, to the other side of center, which is up here. This is center, and this is the other side. So this is the center of the inlays down here. This is the horizontal mark through here. This is the center of the inlays down here. And this is center of the bowl, the outside, and this is the center of the bowl cavity that I'm going to cut next. This is going to be off center. It's going to look all funny, but it'll look better in a minute. You got to make sure you turn everything, because some of these stick up further than others, and always rotate your piece. Oh, I was going to say, make sure the chuck stays on the lathe when you do it. Anyhow, now we got things hooked up, everything's tight. You should make sure everything is tight. It is. You start talking and waving your arms around, and pretty soon you forget something, and the piece comes off and hits you. All righty. Actually, I could use the tailstock for a while. Maybe I should just do that. Show it a little safer here. Move this up, bring the tailstock in. Anytime you go off center, you put the piece off center, but the centers are still the same this way. So you can always use the tailstock no matter what's happening out here. That's kind of nice too. These are horizontal fibers, the pieces, the inlays, and I'm going to cut the ends off of them. I'm not just going to plow them. I'm going to cut the ends off of them. It just makes a little a little smoother cut rather than tearing into them. On the outside, I'll turn the outside this way. So now you can see what I'm doing here. See, I'm taking the edges off. I'm not just tearing these things apart. I've left little nipples on each one of these. I'm taking these off this way. Now we'll start the bolt cavity itself. Take your time. The center part's all rugged here. Can't worry too much about the outside edge because the outside edge is going to have to get turned off on the other center. But I can see here, I've got to come out another 1/8 of an inch yet on this, which is fine. It's kind of nice too to leave the center because now I know the depth. I can tell from the amount of center I've left here how deep I've gone in this bowl. And I know this is 1.25 inches, so I can go down maybe almost 1 inch here. That's getting in there pretty good. I'm gonna have to take this out of here. Now, I've got to go straight in more. You can kind of tell from the noise that you're not there yet. Okay. This end is on. Is I in under it? Huh? Am I good? Yeah, well, I'm just forgetting where I'm at here. where I want to be. I want to go straight in. Normal tool. Make sure I didn't change here. I still got to go straighter in on some of these pieces, which is fine too. There's two different kinds of wood, that's why they're hammering. The inlays are really hard. Now I've got the harmonic. I'll get rid of. Now I've got the inlay turned. I've got this part turned here. I should turn the top of these off a little more. Coming out this way, I've got the offset because I'm on a different center, but I just want to finish this. I just want to make this kind of flat. I'm going to want to sand this. Sometimes take a parting tool, cut the center down a little bit, almost even. And that should pop up. You don't want to pop. Ooh, tough one. That looks good. A little more on the bottom. I make the final cut here with the 3/8 timber gouge. And I'm going to take the center out of this whole thing. There. Now the cavity's turned. Perfect job. And the outside's faced off here. So now we'll go back. We'll take this apart. Take it out of here. I'll show what we got so far. Every time you do one of these, you do it a little different, you know. Now the the center of this is cut. You can see this is my high part, the small part. You see the cavities off center. I would sand this all out. And then I'll turn this over and put it against the flat. I'll turn the back of this, and I'll turn the tenon off. And it'll be all set. On this one, I'm going to, I now have this flat, I have the inside turned. I'm going to chamfer this edge. These just show it's flat. If I chamfer this edge, we're 45 degrees this edge. And that exposes the end grain of those. That'll expose the end grain of the inlays. See, now you're looking at a 45-degree angle. I should actually turn this a little more. And it's just a little more impressive. Right now, I would probably sand that up. That's pretty good. Now it could go down a little deeper. I haven't quite got the tips done yet. I'll do this. Make it a little lower angle down here. Not very flat on top. All right. That's got it. That's got it. Now I'll flatten this out, and I'll be able to put it against the flat wheel. Okay, this is done now, and this surface is done. Now I can reverse this and put it against the flat plate and turn the tenon off. Okay, now we're mounted against the face plate. Bring the tailstock up, tighten it up, make sure everything's tight. Running pretty true. And now we just turn regular bowl shape. Much easier to do when you have some room to do it here. Now remove the tenon. Take the tenon off, the pressure toward the plate. You're not stressing things too much. Wow, those are hard tenons. This is a persimmon or something. Or could be. Thin this out a little bit. Put a sanding ring in there. There's a 1/4 inch skew. Better turn this off. I don't like that tennis stuff at all. It's miserable stuff. Put the sanding ring out here. Like that. And there's a 3/8 spindle gouge. Cleaning this up. I think this is pretty good. Make sure the center is lower. Now let's put a couple of rings in here. It's kind of a flat surface with nothing showing here. Put a ring in there, put a ring in here. Uh-oh. My tenon came loose. I just saw it spin.
That's okay, you don't have to.
You won't believe it.
You don't have to saw it off, man.
You don't have to saw that off. Anyway, that'll sand out. And then after all of that, we've ended up with a bowl. The sides are chamfered a little bit. And the top is, this would be the top here. And the sides are, there's a lot to it. But, I have one clapping. Oh, I shouldn't bring her. Anyway, that's it. Thank you. Thank you. Is it wine time yet?
All right, what a demo.
These next ones look better. That was fun. I learned a lot doing that. Next one will be better. I'm not bringing Rita either, because she booed.
I like your jigs.
She booed. Yeah, we had a good time doing that. That was, I think that I ended up, the one I plowed out, I inlaid with walnut later. So this is, that finished up this way. I made them out of all kinds of things. This is red oak and wangi. See, these are different center lines. The center line's over here instead of down here further. You can do them in this is walnut with a maple inlay. But you could do all kinds of things with them. I said you could do it at an angle. I've shown this before.
It's not offset.
This is what happens. This is not offset. This is all on center. But these are, the table is set at an angle so that you're cutting high and tapering out here. But it's the same kind of thing. You index it. Like these are 30-degree index. There's 30 degrees across here, and this is 15 degrees. We're centered on it.
Hey, Jim. Hey, Jim. Yeah. Okay. Here's what's fascinating to me is, okay, now we saw that you used what was the name of the bit because it didn't have the spade bit for the router. What was the name that you called it?
It has to be a V cutter.
The V. Okay. Okay. So we saw what you did on the piece. Now to put those your inlays in. Now you had to have that fit, that V, to be before you glue them in there.
It's just a 90-degree square piece of stock.
No, I'm saying what to put and it fit in that V groove.
It fits in there perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, because the bit's 90 degrees, so it's just a square piece of the insert is square.
You set the corner of it right in there. Yeah.
If the cutter's 90 degrees.
Yeah, if the cutter's 90 degrees. I just bought a cutter. Can't believe it. The thing is 89 degrees or something, 87 degrees. But anyway, that cutter I use is a perfect 90-degree. You got to get a V cutter, not just a 45-degree cutter. It has to be a V cutter, so it cuts right to the point.
So you just took a block of wood that was square cut.
Yeah.
And it's
You can.
I mean, wow.
You
Yeah,
can
okay.
see it on the edge. It's a 90-degree cut. And you stick a square block in there. You can see it on the other side too.
Turn it off. Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
it was
it's
amazing,
distorted a
man.
little bit because of the curve.
Hey,
It's
Jim,
distorted a
thanks a
little.
lot.
It's distorted a little bit because of the curve, so
No,
it doesn't quite.
no, it's fine. That's fine. You can see it. Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
No, Jim,
Hang on.
I'll tell you what.
It's
Hey,
turning
Jim,
them off.
Yeah.
Both the
pretty awesome night, man.
video camera and this.
Pretty awesome night.
Have a good time.
That
Hey,
was a
Jim,
good
there
one.
was a question. There was a question in the chat. What speed you were turning at when you were off center, and then when you were doing the wood inlays in there. What speed were you at approximately?
You want to know the truth? It's probably around 1,000 RPM, but I don't even look at it. I just turn it up till it feels good and do it.
Right.
Usually, I learned to turn on the shopsmith, so when the lathe starts going across the floor, you back off about 3 RPM.
That's exactly how I do it. That's exactly how I do it, Jim.
You turn it up another 3 RPMs, it'll stop.
Yeah. No, I used to have a 2x4 frame so the shopsmith wouldn't run into the wall all the time. Anyway.
That's what I do with whenever I got an off balance piece, I'll turn it up. I'll turn it up until it stops bouncing because the resonation will stop the vibration on the lathe.
Yeah.
A few more RPMs.
When you go off center with a heavy piece, you're probably about.
Yeah, you probably can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. It depends also how far you go off center. I'm only off a quarter of an inch here, and this whole thing doesn't weigh very much. When you start going off center on a big piece, I got some big ones I did that gets hairy. It's also a wooden chuck, I make these chucks, and I've got all different kinds, big ones, small ones. You saw the one on here had about a 1 5/8 tenon on it, but some of these things I do. Yeah, that might show.
That shows the V cuts.
This will show the V cuts, Al. You can see the V cuts here better, maybe. This actually has the V's in it. Damn, everything reflects. Anyway, when this gets to be bigger, or about 10 inches in diameter, and you start going off center, you got a lot of weight, and you're on a wooden chuck. So I never had one fly off, but in fact, the only sacrificial tenon I have ever had came off in this demo, and you never know what's going to happen in a demo. I have to compliment or thank Tom Kenny for letting me use his shop. It probably took him 2 weeks to clean up after that. It was immaculate when I got there. And Walt Wager really did a job. Editing these things is unbelievable. I don't know how much time he spent on that, but Walt Wager cut a lot of things out of there. It was great. Thank you.
Hey,
Great
Jim,
demo,
by any
Jim.
chance,
Well, no,
by
really,
any chance,
thank
do you
you.
have your dust chuck
Great
handy?
demo.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I
No, it's okay. Somebody was asking about it. I told them to reference last week's video because you went in depth on showing it. So, but no, it's all good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I put a link to the video he did a year and a half ago on the Dux Chuck when he was introducing it. So that's
Can
in
you,
chat too.
Matt? Can you grab the video from last week and put in there?
Yep, I'll go find it.
That would be more applicable.
Here's something else. You talk about this. This is turned on that with that chuck. On this one, the center of the piece is up here, but the center of the turning's here. And this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 centers, and then the center of the piece. But the center here, and these all revolve around it. The center of this one is actually over here. You can see, and the center of this one is actually over here someplace.
Just one different concept of what you showed tonight, right? Exactly.
It's the same chuck.
Another iteration.
But this one's even better. This one's even better because
I could see it for sure.
The center of this piece, center of the piece is here. The center of this is down here. It's below here. So the center of all these is not even on this piece. It's fun. You can go nuts doing this as I'm showing.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, Mike.
What is that? Is that a privet or a ashtray? Or what would you call those things?
Well, that's the damnedest part. I can make all this stuff. I don't know what it is. I put a back on it. You can hang it on the wall or something. I can make all kinds of stuff, but I'm not too sure what it is.
It's
hard. If you buy it, it's whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
So a lot of those designs you'll find on
curtain rods,
Elizabethan furniture. The echelons on trunks and bedroom furniture.
The pendant that I made it's got a back and a little hook on it, eye hook. I got all kinds of these, and these are fun. Anytime you want to learn something, make a small one because you can throw 10 of them away and you're not out anything. Everybody starts with some great big damn thing and spends all day working on it and throws it in the rubbish. I can make these in 15 minutes, and I've got all kinds of these things.
Thanks for calling me out there, Jim.
That is very sound. That is sound stage advice. Start small because so many people they immediately want to go to something large and they set themselves up for failure.
All right, now quit talking about me.
This is turned from two sides, but then this one's turned. Give me the bowl with the offset.
That's cool. 5
offsets. You know what I mean?
No, which one?
Anyway, we've got all kinds of stuff there. I got a whole bag full of these things. These are pendants. This is turned. This is the wood is. I have to show how you put the wood together on this one, but on this, I got one other bowl I could show you. Wait a minute. The bowl with the top sides there. This one. The one that was flat this time.
Oh, right here. Go ahead, go show them.
Hey, Rita, are you making progress on that embellishing of that other piece?
No, this one.
Oh.
Rita, Rita hides things, and once you think you know what you're doing around here, she moves things. This is a
like that.
bowl. Did I show this?
No, not recently. You haven't showed
a little
it.
while.
Anyway, this is a 6-inch bowl, and the sides are 1 inch off center. So across here would be 4 inches, and the cavity's turned off center.
And it's not sent yet.
Jim, I have been thinking about this since you showed this last week. I'm looking, and you said you grabbed it at 4 different locations. So if you grabbed it on the bottom side at 4 locations,
center points. Call it center points.
Okay, no. What I'm asking is, did you keep the center on the other side and moved it to 4 times? Where your right thumb is right now? Where your right thumb is?
Here.
No, your right thumb. Your other right thumb.
This thumb.
Yes,
Yeah.
that one. You know? Okay.
Starboard
so
after forward.
You held it center there and moved it four ways on the bottom.
No, first off, I had a sacrificial tenon on here. And I moved this thing sideways with that chuck of mine.
Right.
And then when I turn it around, well, it's not turned around. It's actually turned. The chuck is on this side, slides in and out, and this side's flat. So I've always got a center on this side when I'm turning this side. When I'm turning the sides, and then I go off center and turn the cavity out, so that the cavity, I just shifted off center this way and turn the cavity out. Now the duck's chuck slides sideways through there. It's a flat board, and it's flat. If you make this thick and cut it at an angle, now you got another whole world. This is another whole world. This is turned on 4. This is turned 5, 6 centers. This is turned on 6 centers, but it's also planed. These are different planes, and you can't do that. This is actually turned, instead of being turned like this, it's set at an angle. So that now this becomes flat.
Yep.
Anyway, so this is one angle, this is another angle, this is a third angle, and to make it complement itself, I made this angle and this angle the same, only it's flipped over, and you turn the other side to match it.
Oh man, okay.
And then the cavity's turned off center from that.
Okay.
You're a crazy man.
Okay.
He's messing with you, Al.
Yeah, I know. He's laughing behind the bowl. He's laughing behind the bowl.
Just when you thought you had the answers, Jim changed the questions again.
That's it. That's it.
No, he didn't. No, it was great. Go. Hey, you know what, Jim?
Hey, stay tuned next week. He'll change them again on you next week.
Yeah.
Complicated for my pea brain.
Never mind. If I
It was
could.
a very enjoyable evening, Jim. I'll tell you that for sure.
Well, I can make so many things now that I don't know what to do with. Who wants a bowl like that?
Or an ashtray or whatever.
If you put this in a gallery, somebody's going to think that's a mistake, right? I mean, nobody would make that on purpose, but anyway.
Look what her people said last night about some blocks of wood to me last night. It should be in a gallery. It should be in a gallery.
No end to the fun. Thank you.
Isn't that the truth? No end to the fun is right. That's cool. No end to the fun.
Blew my mind. I know that.
Well,
He melted.
It was a nice
melted
night. Nice
several
night.
people's minds.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
For sure.
Give me a
All
check.
right. Well, if nobody else has any questions on the follow-up demo from
Well,
tonight, or
no.
any
I
questions
have a
from last
question.
week's demo, I will let Jim go.
No,
You got
that
him
was
front
good.
and center, so
Thank you, Jim.
Hey,
thank you.
all right.
hey, Rita, thank you too. Thank you too, Rita.
Thank you, both of you guys. And, if anybody else wants to do a demo, all you got to do is reach out. If you're camera shy and you just want to record it, it's no problem playing the a recorded version of the demo. We got 2 weeks of demos that Mr. Duxbury just did. They come along just fine. They play back fine on Zoom. No problems there. Mr. Grinstad, he records his, and we play them back. And then of course we got our live demos. So we got a good slate, for the next 6-7 weeks we've got planned out. But I am always looking for new demonstrators. Something new. Invite us into your shop. You can show us the most basic item, or you can just show us, something that'll melt our minds. Like what Mr. Duxbury does. So all you got to do is get a hold of me, get a hold of Captain Eddie, and we'll get you on the books. All right. So with that, Matt, do we have? Actually, is Captain Eddie still on? Nope. He had to pop off. So with that, Matt, do we have any gallery items?
Oh, we do. We've got Norm says he's got.
I will be jetting out here in a few minutes to go medicate my cats and take care of them, and I'll be right back in about 10 minutes.
Okay. We got Norm says he's got some stuff to show. So let's see what you got, Norm.
Norm. Thank you. I had a little time in the shop, so I made this little bowl or box or whatever.
Nice.
Out of walnut.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Nice.
And then I made this
Oh yeah.
yarn bowl.
Lovely.
That's pretty.
Yep,
Yes, it
very
is.
nice.
No tool marks.
What's the dimensions on it?
I believe it was 10.5 wide and 5.5 tall.
Okay.
Kind of
Good size.
And it's 1/4 inch wall. A little bit thicker on the bottom because I wanted some weight down there.
Yep.
Yep.
kind of finish you got on it.
I put lacquer on this.
Very nice. Love that green. What kind of wood is that?
That's ash.
Ooh.
That's a cool piece of ash.
It really is. Very
Yeah,
nice.
Wow. Look at that.
I've got my brother-in-law took a tree down and it was about 3.5 foot in diameter.
Wow.
So I've got a lot of it.
Wow.
I'm really excited about it.
Be a nice big piece to make a cowboy hat out of.
There you go. That's a few years down the road for me, I think. I'm just getting into this.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Who else you got, Matt?
Well, if that's Norm's thought he said he had some more than one piece. You got another piece to show, Norm?
I had the walnut.
Yeah.
And then this one.
Yeah.
Two.
So I had the two pieces.
Two nice
All right, well,
pieces,
great.
yeah.
Very nice. So Doug Miller also has some stuff to show.
I do. I have a piece to show, not stuff, but anyway, one.
come on,
Did this
Doug.
yesterday in my demo yesterday. Just finished it up while Mr. Jim was sharing with us. Got some wax on it.
That's pretty.
Just a basswood bowl, very simple bowl. Really has no grain to it as such. So needed something, and I was wanting to finish up a series on coloring anyway. This is a product called what's it called? Space Dust, I think. Yeah, Space Dust, which is a airbrush paint. Pour it straight out of the bottle into the airbrush, spray it on, and it does have some color shift to it. You can just see it right there.
Huh.
It's supposed to be violet and electric blue. Looks more like blue and green to me, at least in that picture. But anyway, real nice stuff. Works very, very well. You turn it, put down some gloss black, put this stuff on top of it, and it seems to work very well. as long as your airbrush works. My airbrush gave me a fit yesterday, but I finally got it to work. It's a brand new airbrush, and I had to open the valve on it. It was totally shut. So once I figured that out, everything was good. But that's what I've got. What is that? 7.25 by 2.5. So just a simple little bowl.
Very nice.
Very
nice.
cool, Doug. I can see the color shift. So who makes the space dust? You know me, I'm interested.
I can tell you.
I think that was Cheech and Chong, wasn't it?
No.
No, that was magic dust.
Yeah, exactly.
We just dated ourselves.
Yes, we did. Vallejo space dust acrylic airbrush metallic color shift depending on light or angle. That's VALLEHO.
EJO?
Excuse
me.
VALLEJO. Yes.
Okay.
And just
and
if you want it, it's reference number 77.09.
There you go. Thank you.
6 colors come in that box. And so they come out, all of the colors that I've tried so far come out nice like that.
Okay. So. Rust-Oleum also makes a color shift paint in a rattle can.
Yes, they do. Mm-hmm. I haven't tried those yet, but I know they do.
I really like the idea of being able to pour it through my airbrush, though. That looks very cool.
Yeah. It's ready made for it. Comes with a little ball in the bottle. You just shake it for a while, it gets it mixed really, really well. Pour it straight into your airbrush. Psh, 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 you're done.
Nice.
I'll tell you, that was a nice piece, though. Really, Doug, really was. Really.
Thank you.
I have the spray can iridescent, or the, what did you call it? The paint just now?
Color shift?
Yeah, the color shift. Used it one time, 2 days later, it was clogged up. It would not spray no more.
Oh.
That stuff was expensive.
Got to remember in those rattle cans, clear your valve. You get done with it, turn it upside down, spray it till it quits spraying color, and then you're good to go.
Okay.
All right, very cool. Yeah, I see it on Hobby Lobby's website too. Is that where you got it, Doug, or did you get it online?
Either Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I was looking for something else, and they didn't have it, but they had this, and I grabbed it while I was there.
I hear you.
It may well have been Michael's. I've got a Michael's and a Hobby Lobby right down the road from each other, and if I don't find what I want at one, I go to the other one.
That sounds like a great plan.
And there's plenty to eat between the two.
Yeah.
Method behind my madness.
I love it. I love it.
There you go.
All right. Well, I don't know. Dane is not back yet. So anybody else have anything they'd like to show?
If I can find what I did with them, I'll show you a brand new thing that I just got. Oh, here they are.
Hey, Terry.
Want to come back over here? I'll share these with you.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
There you go. These are a new product on the market. See if I can get it where you can see it. Salisbury Crafts.
Oh, yeah, Jason's company.
Yeah, Jay. Yeah, they're in Australia, and he is. He's just starting to get a network of distributors. There's a fella up in Ohio, Chris Bailey's Woodworks, that sells this stuff. Not to necessarily push him, but he's the only distributor in the U.S. right now. But these colors, they're bright, just really nice colors. I'm really excited about trying them out. These are the there's two different kinds. There's an airbrush paint that comes in this size bottle, but there's also this is the refill for the little felt tip pens. They have a spring point in them. You push them down, the ink runs into the end, and they color very, very nicely. But I wanted this because it's a little thinner. The pigment's a little thinner than in the airbrush paint. So I bought these intentionally. They questioned me extremely. Well, are you sure you're getting what you want? Yes, I'm getting what I want.
Yeah.
But even these color as well as a lot of the airbrush paints that I see being used.
Yeah.
I think there's 4 colors of this one. There might be 5 or 6 currently available. There's more available directly from Jay, but that's coming all the way from Australia, so the shipping is outrageous.
Yeah. And they're
Right now.
water-based too.
Yes, water-based, non-toxic.
Yep.
I've heard Jay twice say you can take the cap off and drink it. I wouldn't, but you could, I guess. It would not make you too sick. Might upset your stomach a little bit. So I'm excited about trying them. I've not even tried them yet. I just took them out. There's the plastic bag that these 2 bottles were in. They still got tape. That's what that white stripe is. It's tape over the bottles, over the caps, so that it doesn't open up. So I've got red and blue and yellow and green. So I got some playing to do. We'll see what that shows up here in the next few weeks.
Yep. Jay's getting a lot of good response to his paints.
He really is.
Yep.
The local council has asked him several times now to come and do like to craft shows and whatnot, set up a booth and just let children play with his colors. So he takes the pens and some coloring pages, and the children are just having a blast with them. And moms and dads love them because they wash off. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, he just had that all set up at Australia Days.
Yes,
And,
yes.
Good turnout. Yep.
Yeah. The kids are loving it. The parents are loving it. It's working well for him. Chris he's turning a ton of tops, and he's coloring the tops with the pens, and they color just brilliantly. So that's what kind of got me excited about them. So it's fun. It's fun. Always finding these new things. Matt gets excited about them too. I know that. But
hey,
this
Doug,
is just yeah.
Do you have your airbrush handy?
Yeah.
Could you run through very quickly about how you would clean it?
Sure.
As a little mini demo. Thank you, sir, very much.
Two things. Get the cap off of here. This is a brand new one, so I'm still learning it. Here's the airbrush. I guess it's okay to mention the brand. It's not a big name brand. You can almost see it. Central Machinery. So Harbor Freight. Comes with a bottle, a siphon bottle, but it also has a siphon cup. Spray, get done with what I want. You know, if I've got the cup on here, get it on there just for good measure. I got the cup on there, do all my spraying. What I would do as a first way of cleaning, I take my this is my alcohol bottle. I spray a cup full of alcohol and spray that through, and that'll get everything from that point out cleaned. Afterwards, when I'm done, or maybe once a week or something, depending on how much I'm using it, go ahead and take it apart. Take the cup off, clean it good. Harbor Freight makes a set of brushes. There's 4 or 5 brushes on a ring. The smallest one will go through all these little tiny cavities, like in that tube right there. That little tiny brush will go down through that real easy. This tip comes off right here. That comes off. This blue part is a cover. It untwists and exposes. This is the needle. This is the end of the needle. This is a locking nut here. So you loosen that. You pull that booger out. It just slides right out. You can clean that really good. In fact, if you really need it, this comes loose right here, and you can clean all of that again with those brushes using some alcohol, or there is a airbrush cleaner that can be used. Most of the time, especially if you're using water-based paints, like this stuff from
Hey, Doug,
Paints.
Doug.
Yes, sir.
You bought this? You bought this at Harbor Freight?
Yeah. This came from Harbor Freight. Comes in a nice little plastic box with die-cut foam. So everything is set up, ready for you to use. It all works really, really well. I was amazed. This particular one, I pulled it out yesterday because my cheap one, my little makeup airbrush, quit working for some reason. I haven't pulled it apart to see yet. It may just be clogged. It may need a good thorough cleaning.
Right.
But I pulled this one out and I couldn't get any paint to go through it.
I was there. I
Finally,
was watching.
yeah, finally figured out.
I was panicking just like you.
Finally figured out that needle valve was all the way in and locked down tight, and that's why no paint would go through. Once I loosened the little adjustment nut, slid that needle back an eighth of an inch or less, locked that thing down, and it sprayed wonderfully. And that's exactly how I got all that on there.
Yeah.
I was a little freaked out and didn't exactly get done. I did paint it, but it was blotchy. I didn't like it. In fact, I got some sawdust in the wet paint before it dried, and so I sanded it all back to bare wood, started over again, and that's why I ended up. It's nice and smooth now. I did have a few little spits with that new brush, and it turned out I kind of like the little spit balls on there. It made it look kind of like stars in a blue sky. So it's not hard to clean an airbrush. Just a matter of running alcohol, water, whatever your solvent needs to be.
That I haven't even gone in that direction because of the cleaning part. Now attaching it to now I have my air compressor, and I have a handle that I blow off and stuff at night, before I go out in. And okay, so that hookup right there's that hookup that goes right into the gun that you're talking about that you could get right there at Harbor Freight.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can buy full kits that have the compressor, the hose, the airbrush, and maybe paints.
No, I have the compressor. I have everything, right at reach.
Well, that's what I do. I just plug mine into my regular compressor and I turn the regulator down to 20 pounds.
Should there be a little thing for before it goes into the line? What's that called? Not a
little quick connect.
Yeah, no. You know what? Forget what I even said, because I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about. So forget that.
Well,
but anyway,
right there, I've got here's my air hose coming up, and just a little twist on connector that goes directly on, which comes with it. I didn't have to go buy something separate. Now, if I want to use this with my regular compressor, I've got two. My little one is right here, right underneath my lathe. Just like I think it was Jeff just said that, they have the connectors. I can do a quick connect onto my air hose.
Yep.
It taper or adapts down to fit this, but I'd need to put a regulator in there so I can knock it down to 15 or 20.
That's what I wanted to say. The regulator.
Yeah.
That's what I wasn't thinking about. That's what I wanted to say. The regulator. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And in
so
fact,
for you guys that do airbrushing, you find it important to have the moisture, the water canister on in between your coming out of the AC tank and before your airbrush? Is that a real necessity?
Mine is built into my compressor, and I don't ever do anything with it, and nothing ever fails. Yep. It works just fine. Yeah, and if you're using acrylic paint is water based, and any water in the line is not a problem at all.
So, yeah, your airbrush compressors are typically just diaphragm compressors, and they don't have that issue.
Well,
yeah, so I'm talking full on.
What about my regular compressor in my shop right here? I stop it. It probably pushes about 60, I guess.
Yeah.
As I blow myself off, so I can't just plug what I have that blows me off.
You should have a regulator where you can dial down your output pressure.
Right. You need to dial it down to about 20 psi.
Okay. Just go over there. Okay. Just go over there and regulate. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And if you've got a quiet compressor like a California Air.
Stupid questions. I shouldn't ask questions.
No, you should ask questions. No, and if you've got a quiet compressor like a California Air, which is what I've got, that's a diaphragm compressor.
I have an old Craftsman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have any issues with water, and my air gun that I use for blowing out my projects and stuff like that, I have a little cup that attached to the end of it, where the line goes into it, and that's supposed to be a water capture, and I've never gotten anything in it.
Yeah. My big compressor, I have purchased the regulator and it has a built-in water trap as well.
Mhm.
If I wanted to use that. So far I haven't needed to use it. My little makeup compressor works well.
Yeah.
Well, I only have one, and I'm only gonna buy none. So
Yeah. Sure. If you don't need to, there's no point in it.
I also have a California.
I don't think Congress will allow the funds. Well, you have.
I also have a
time to talk about politics.
I also have a California Air.
My wife.
I also have a California Air compressor, and in my garage, I get a fair amount of moisture. So I do have to clean up my moisture trap regularly, or let the moisture out of the bottom of the compressor.
Oh yeah, no, that's a
You
must.
should be draining your air compressor every night.
Yeah, every time you use yep, exactly.
I hired an airbrush artist. The guy does all kinds of trucks, and in fact, he even works for the bakery, and he airbrushes birthday cakes and things.
Yeah.
For $100, he came to my shop with everything he owned, and he showed. I got 5 guys. We split it, and it was absolutely worth every dollar of it. He showed how to do it, how to clean it. Then he took cotton batting and he airbrushed around it, and it made like clouds on the piece.
Yeah.
It took all kinds of stuff that you'd never think of. Hire somebody who knows what they're doing and get started right. It just worth its weight in gold, I'll tell you.
Matt is really good with that stuff.
Yeah, I took a class with Nick Agar a while back, and among other things, we did a number of things with the airbrush. I'm going to see if I can find it here. But I had a piece that was done in a very similar fashion to what you're talking about, Jim, where come on.
The guy made it so easy, and it was so fast and simple.
Yeah, and I made a piece. I've got this dang program is not working right. I made a piece that was in the class where the stencil I used was torn paper towel out of the trash can.
Yeah.
And it turned out fantastic, and it was so good that my son confiscated it when I got home from the class, and I think it still has a tenant on it, but it was like trying to find the
Paul
piece
Hannaby.
here.
Paul Hannaby did a demo back, I don't know, probably 2 years ago, a full on one with the airbrush, and he was doing some of the same stuff, making templates out of napkins and stencil stuff out of paper. And then within the last year, Paul also did a demo using the airbrush. So for the folks that are, want to see, some quality airbrushing that's been done, go on the webpage, go to, webpage FYI, and then presenters, and click on Paul Hannaby, and it'll bring up the list of stuff that he's done, and you'll be able to click on, whichever applicable airbrushing demo that he's done. But he's done excellent work using the airbrush. So
it's an art.
And then Trace Lynette, he's done a couple for us, probably 3-4 years ago. So there's, we've got demos out there, going in, nuts and bolts on how to do a good airbrushing project.
So can I show a few pieces?
Yeah.
Sure. All right. All right. All right. So let me go here first. So this piece here, can you see this piece, guys?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So this piece here, this was done at one of the Campbell's Hands-On Retreats. And this is done after dinner. And this is a guy had turned this piece in one of the classes with feed on the bottom. And he said, and we were playing with airbrush, and you could see there's an airbrush set on the table, and he had brought 5 airbrushes in that his brother had given him. And so he said, here, spray this. So I literally impromptu in about 5 minutes sprayed this piece this way with the airbrush. So let me see if I can get into some of these others in here. So this is one of the pieces I did in the agar class. It's about 1.5 feet square, and it was turned off center. So if you look real close, there's a little plastic skull in the center of that piece.
What is it? What are we looking at?
It was a little piece of maple, and it was turned off center in several different places, textured, airbrushed, hand painted, and there's a little plastic skull glued into the center. And this piece was also done in the this piece was also done in the class with a Japanese maple leaf that was taken off a tree outside the class at Aramont. So all of this was done with a single leaf.
Wow.
Beautiful. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. And this piece here was also done with airbrush. And one of the things I have, when I go to the dollar store, I scroll through the dollar store looking for stuff I can use as stencils. Okay. So you can't really see this very well, but there's some patterns that are used here that are sprayed through. So there's a couple of things I look for. I look for doilies, and let me stop share here and highlight myself for this. So in my airbrush bucket, I keep some things to spray through. So this is a torn up butterfly net. Okay. And if you spray through it, it leaves a pattern on your piece. And this is, something that this leaves a hex pattern on the piece that you spray through.
You say spray through it with the airbrush.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And it'll leave
all right.
patterns.
Okay.
There.
All right.
I have like burlap and all kinds of things, but I go through and I look this is literally a butterfly net that would literally cost like 85 cents at the dollar store. And I tore it up and you spray it through and it gives you this net. And I don't know that I have an example of that anywhere, but it's good fun. So it's on this piece here that I was showing earlier. This vase is not a very good picture, I'm afraid, but that's how I created this texture. The textures here on the side and down here is by spraying through that butterfly net.
Huh.
Hey Matt, how'd you make it look blurry?
Yeah, that's the easy part.
How'd you make it look like a butterfly? How'd you make it
Just
look
be
like
glad you're not drinking the same stuff that I'm drinking. So, and this one here, I was talking, the story with this piece is Steve Rohr, one of my club guys, came over to my house and we spent like 6 hours just playing around in the shop. And we were sitting around talking, and I was tearing up little pieces of masking tape and taping it onto this piece. And then I airbrushed some of his paints and some of my paints around the pieces of masking tape to get this pattern.
Cool.
That's cool.
So it's just masking tape. It's just little torn up bits of masking tape torn up and put into a spot on the plate, and then taped in. And then you can use stencils and stuff to do things like this.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
And this is like one of my first experiments with metallic paint mixed with paint thinner and gold and stuff. And it's kind of sloppy in a couple places, but the person who bought it loved it. So what are you going to do?
That's what matters.
Yeah.
I would no way sell that. That would be like one of my children.
Al, for you, I'd make another one. So this one was done.
Better watch what you say.
This one was done in a demo, and one of the club members used to have a Saturday afternoon hang out and turn and make stuff. And what was his name? Bill Clay. Do you remember him, Jeff?
I do.
Big tall guy. Ended up having.
Yeah, he's the one who moved to Kansas.
Yeah, take over his family's sunflower farm or something like this.
Yeah.
Like I airbrushed this at a demo in his house, and the fern stuff here on the bottom. This is ferns that were just pulled out of his garden and spray painted around, airbrushed around.
Cool.
So there's all kinds of things you can do, and
yes, absolutely. Oh.
I'm going to write up. I'm going to write up something so we can do. So there's more like this one here is more airbrush with stencils.
I remember you doing that at Ron's.
Yeah. I've showed these at Ron's where we did these. I did these as demos.
Yeah.
So, and this was my favorite one of those. So this is done in a couple places. Now, one of the trick.
No wait. Okay, so you lay the pattern out of maple leaf. I'll call maple leaf, and then you spray. Well, what's the first base? Black?
No. The first thing I'm doing is I'm doing the leaves first. Okay. So we stop, share, and show this. So this one is a work in progress that I haven't done anything with for years. Okay. So when I make a pattern, I get both the negative and the positive, i.e. the leaf and the hole where the leaf was. Okay.
Well, that's my question. I mean, how'd you get to that point right there?
So the first thing I did, well, I screwed this up, okay, which is why it's been sanded back and the leaves have been painted onto it, okay? So what I did first is I put...
You just answered. You painted that on right there? You painted that?
Yeah, but this is airbrushed on with stencils, okay?
Wow.
So what you do is when you cut out the stencil is you keep both the leaf and the hole where the leaf was. So you got both a negative stencil and a positive stencil, okay? So here I'm putting the hole, put the hole on, and I tape off the whole rest of the plate. So the only thing that's exposed on the wood is the hole where the leaves go, okay? And then I spray the leaves. Now, all these leaves have a very light coat of yellow first. And then you put on some green and some red and some negative red for the veins, and maybe some more heavy yellow, or maybe some more orange or something. And then I don't know if you can see this, but here in these corners you add some shadow, which is just a little touch of black in the shadow. Okay.
And with this air gun, you could get that precise to that precise.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Really?
Yes, but I'm cheating, Al, because I'm using stencils.
You're using
really?
a template.
Wow.
You're using a template.
I can't write my name to look that good.
That's right, Matt.
You and me both.
I'm just saying.
So that's why I have leaf holes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, template.
Leaf holes.
I mean,
and leaves.
You knew I was asking. You knew I was going to ask it.
Yeah, I'm cheating. I'm totally using stencils. I'm not that good either.
No. But no, this is great. This is great. I mean, that's gorgeous.
So and then what you do is you hit, before you take this off, right? You hit it with 2 coats of lacquer, light coats of lacquer to seal it in. And then you peel back the stencils, and you put leaf stencils on top. All right. So I've got like one of these is here. I don't know where it is. It's maybe on there like that, right? Okay. I take that off, and I put a leaf on there. Okay. And then that lets me spray the rest of the plate.
You're cheating.
I totally.
You ain't, hey, Al, you ain't trying.
That's cool.
You ain't trying it. You ain't cheating.
That's cool.
Art doesn't have to be hard.
No,
it doesn't.
It's cool though.
All right,
Matt, there is so
much
much to airbrushing that we really ought to think about having maybe several demos, maybe through this year on airbrush, because there's so many different techniques, and
then it's all,
there's so much you can do with
the
it.
individual. Then it's on the individual, with their own style, so
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I've shown you enough tonight, just in this little 10-minute or whatever little here, I've shown you 15 different techniques, right? Stencils and holes and these little things you spray through to get patterns and textures.
How often do you replace your stockings, Matt?
How often do I what?
How often do you replace your stockings?
My stockings?
All right, everybody else got it. It's all good. I'm just teasing. All good. All right, so with that, we're at the top of the hour, so we're just going to go ahead and call this for the official meeting.